Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Gousters.
And today is Monday, September 26th, 2016. This is episode 266. If you'll notice that our lighting is not as great as normal, that is because we are recording in the evening. Unfortunately, yesterday did not work out on our normal Sunday recording, but we are here Monday night after work on both our parts and a few other household activities that had to be taken care of, but we're here recording for you all. So you'll probably see this on Tuesday during the day, but we're getting a show out anyway. So if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. It's been 2 weeks. So hopefully you've had a really good 2 weeks. Let's just jump right into weeks in review for ourselves. For me, I have vended 2 events with Leading Men Fiber Arts. I've taught 2 full weeks as far as I know. I can't remember as much. But it's been a whirlwind and things are not slowing down, but that's life, right? So, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, Leading Men Fiber Arts vended at Fiber in the Park in Earlville, Illinois. And then I taught, and then we had a trunk show at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois, this past Saturday, which was a lot of fun. This past weekend was also the infamous Apple and Pork Festival here in my hometown. And so Andy's dad and uncle came into town to visit. And then my mom and Andy and myself went down and did a whole lot of walking yesterday. So got a few things, nothing really. I really didn't get anything except my annual cheese fries and fresh made donuts, which my donuts, because it was late on Sunday, weren't that fresh. But anyway, neither here nor there. I didn't eat either, right? But it's like cover up the gut. So that's pretty much been my 2 weeks. Nothing really else is jumping out at me, so I will pass it over to Callie.
My 2 weeks have been pretty busy. I've been in and out of work a lot because so the first week that we didn't record, I was chaperoning a girls' science sleepover for our kiddos. This is now my 3rd year doing that. It went really well. It rained a monsoon quite a bit, and we were in a Morton. I don't know how recognizable they are in other parts of the country, or even for the world that matter. But it's a Morton building. And they're kind of like a tin building with a very tin roof. They're pretty iconic around here. But we were staying in there, and there's 2 oak trees on both sides. And so a lot of limbs were falling down during the storm, and it was pretty rough. The kids were like waking up like every couple of minutes and like, are we okay? Like, is the building crashing? And so like, yep, we're good. Still dry. It's good. But the building didn't have bathrooms in it, so we had to take the kids out because we stayed in a park. It's technically the Farm Bureau park, and so you can lock it up at night and that kind of thing. But the buildings are kind of like park, or the bathrooms are kind of like park bathrooms. So if that gives you kind of an indicator, and they have like little shower curtains for like doors, and so it was an adventure, but it was really good, and the kids, did really well. And honestly, this was one of the smoothest years that I've chaperoned, so that went really well. I was really pleased with it, and the kids had a great time, so that's really all that matters. And then this past week, we had our all-team meeting in Champaign, and that went really well, so a lot of good things to look forward this year. I'm really excited, and I think there's going to be a lot of really positive changes that the kids are going to like. And if we're excited about it, then it's a good chance that our kids are going to be really excited about it. So that's exciting. So that's been pretty much what's been going on.
Cool. We have our episode title. Exciting! Exclamation point. All right, so before I get started on another row on the sock, let's talk about what's taking about this episode. So, what have we finished? If you follow me on Instagram, it was an FO parade yesterday. I finally got around to taking pictures of a lot of finished objects that I finished recently, and I was just like one after another on Instagram. But in the past 2 weeks, I've finished 2 shawls. So the first is the Sunstruck by Laura Ayler, and I used Madeline Tosh Merino Light in Farmhouse White, Tart, and Great Gray Owl, as well as Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper Intermission in the Darkest Hour colorway. And I used the size 5 US, which is a 3.5 millimeter. So here it is in all its glory.
I love how this turned out.
It is asymmetrical, so this end was the end I finished on, and it is smaller than the big end. So this would be the good swoop wraparound end. And on Instagram, or on my project page, I did kind of a modeled shot, and then it just draping over to show the full effect. And then I also did kind of a tucked under cowl effect, but you can see the Darkest Hour lining everything. This was some long rows up at the top, but it wasn't that bad. Really great for mindless knitting, which I did at the Fiber in the Park last weekend. So it's been blocked, everything. It's striking, and it's a classic color combo, so I'm really happy with it. Where it will go, who it will be for, I have no idea. So, I'll fold that nicely later. It's already been blocked and pictures have been taken, so. The second thing I finished, I phoned in on this one. I'm not going to lie. I had about a third of the skein left, but I had finished the pattern, and the pattern said I could keep going, and I did for a while, but I was just like, is it going to distort the shape of the shawl without continuing to increase? I wasn't sure, and to be honest with you, I was just like, I'm done. I keep doing it, and I really liked the way this ended. So I finished Maya by Rosemary Hill, or Romy Hill, using Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy in a progressive test dye that we did, that we won't ever do again, on a size 5 US 3.75 millimeters. And here it is. So it's a shoulderette, and if you can see, it's got the gold, then the green, and it's got just that narrow strip of blue. That was the last color, and I like just that little pop of accent of the blue. I really felt like it gave an edging to the wider edging, and it was really nice. Romy commented on my picture on Instagram, and I was like, I started this at SSK in your class. She's like, I love the 2-color version, and it was so great to see you start on it. So it does have beads. Try not to dunk it in my late night coffee I'm having, but you can see all the beads there, and there was a lot of beads at the end, and I still had 2 little packets of beads left. But again, I was just like, how long do you really want those straight rows of beads? So I did block out the points and whatnot. I did use a few of my knit blockers that I showed you. What I realized, the unfortunate thing, I think they'd be really good for foam blocking boards, but I have an actual blocking board that has measurements and everything, and they're a little hard to stick into them. In fact, I bent one, so. But here it is. It's really good as a shoulderette over the shoulders. It's not so much good about as a kerchief. I mean, it could be, maybe for some women, but it looks like a bib if I were to do it, so. But I do like the drape and how it opened up. So I think this will be going to, since I started it at SSK this summer, I think it's going to be going for their charity drive that they do every year for next year's SSK.
I think when you were knitting that, I wasn't for sure how big it was going to be once it was blocked. And I really like that size. Like, it's not too small, but it's not overwhelmingly big.
To be honest with you, though, the last rows that I was doing where I could just keep going, I mean, those rows were taking forever. And I thought it was, I mean, I guess it is much bigger on the bottom than the top, but I just thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. I knew it was a shoulderette, but when I finally got it blocked, I mean, it opened up some, which was nice. But, you know, it's really got a nice textured stitch to it, and it will definitely keep you engaged. So I highly recommend Maya by Romy Hill. But that's all that I finished. Just those 2 shawls.
I'm excited because I kind of really put the zoom on this.
Pedal to the metal, maybe?
Yeah, I was second guessing myself. I was like, am I going to say this correctly or not? This is the It's a
Top down baby cardigan?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I was like, I know what the...
That's pretty good since I only heard you say it once.
This is using Liberty Wool in their...
Classic Elite Liberty Wool?
Yes, it is, but it's one of their bases. Yeah. It's the 100% washable wool. It's the 122 or 122 base. Because I was trying to see if I could do it on light and make it with what I make another one, and it won't quite work. So that was disappointing. But so I finished this, and I really love it.
It's super adorable.
It's made for the 2-year size, so I tried to do it pretty big, so then that way there'd be more wear for it. And I was really intentional about how the colors played out, because with Liberty Wool, it's, 4 balls don't look the same. Like, they don't start in the same place and they don't end in the same place. So I was really intentional about trying to make it so where it would. And so I think I did pretty well, and I really love it. I love the little eyelet section, and I learned, I had mentioned this the last time we recorded, but I didn't know how to do I-cord edging on a garment piece, or really in general, how to do it at all. So I really like this, and I'm actually designing a baby blanket for a friend of mine using it, so then that way I don't have to pick up stitches along the edges. And so I'm really pumped about that, because we all know I make a ton of baby blankets and I hate weaving in things and all that. So I'm really proud, and I've never done mattress stitch. I know that seems really, meh.
Yeah, but you haven't done a lot of sweaters, and the only time I've ever done it is in seaming sweaters, and I always have to look it up when I go to do it anyway.
But so I think I did a pretty okay job on it. I don't know that I did a stellar job, but I really like it. And I really can't just like stop holding it up, because I can't wait for my friend to have her kid. Like, really, it's going to be a miracle baby, and that makes it really special.
Now, do you have buttons picked out for that?
No, it doesn't require buttons. It has like an I-cord loop that you can do a button on it.
Okay.
But I don't like that. I think it looks a little bit unfinished. Like, I don't like the way that it looks on the photo. And I've seen a lot of other people's project pages for this, and I don't like it. And so, but it's big enough and that it can overlap. And so, what my gift will be this and a onesie and its coordinating size. So then that, or onesie or top or whatever. So then that way it'll be a layering piece. So I'm really excited about it.
Very nice.
Thank you. But even up here, I was so meticulous about making sure that those would match. And I did. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Let's move into what's performing this week. The first thing for me I'm currently knitting on, and I'm going to finish this row before I show you, are my Spring Mix socks. I'm using Knit Picks Felici in Spring Mix and Leading Red Fiber Arts Showstopper Intermission in the black walnut colorway on a size 1 US 2.25 millimeter needles. And unfortunately, not a whole lot of love was given to this. Took it a lot of places and then didn't get a whole lot done. But I did finish the leg since we last spoke. And there's the, I did do a heel flapping gusset. And then I just continued to pick back up. And I'm now decreasing down the gusset. You can see the green picked back up. And working my way down the foot. So, I'm doing this on 72 stitches. I really like the fabric the Knit Picks Felici is giving. I've heard a lot of good things about it, how it's soft and it feels dense. So, I'm happy with that. And I like the greens. Very subtle, very me. So I think I'll get a lot of wears out of these. And I really like the hand-dyed quality of the brown against the commercial dyed Knit Picks. I really think it makes the brown pop with the subtle changes in the color. So there's that. The next thing I'm working on is Outlier by Laura Ayler. and I worked on this a lot on Saturday. In fact, I'm not too far away from finishing it. But I'm using Barocco Borealis in color number 5082, which is Katia, Katia, is from what I could find. This was in a discounted section of our local yarn store, and I picked up 3 skeins of bulky and said, I'm going to find something to do with it. And I did, and it was the outlier. So I'm knitting this on a size 13 US, which is a 9mm. I cannot tell you the last time I've knit on a size 13.
I will also say when I saw you knitting this on Saturday, I was like, I've not seen those needles before.
Yep. But, so I thought this was a shawl, the way the pictures look, but it's actually like a shawl or scowl is what Sarah, Mrs. Shu from the Cultivate and Create audio podcast, who's local to us. You should definitely check out her audio podcast. She calls it a scowl, but it looks like a shawl, right? But it's in the round, folks, so it won't fall off. And I really love, this is my It's Fall Y'all, which we'll talk about it later. This is my It's Fall Y'all color, or project. And look at these colors. They scream fall, don't they? So this does shed like the dickens because it's kind of a single ply, but I think my issue is when I have to move stitch markers, I pop them in my mouth to hold them, and then the fiber comes off and whatnot. But I'm really happy with this. This is almost done. I'm going to be doing some rounds and decreasing some more, and then a little bit of garter stitch around the neck, and we're gonna call it good and weave in ends and whatnot. So very exciting for that.
It is.
It's been a while since I've knit with bulky yarn, but
I remember you said, I should do this more often.
I should. In fact, my next project that's going to be in rehearsal is a worsted weight. Not quite bulky, but...
From your random number generator?
No, this one's going to go with our new knit along I'm going to talk about, and some recent stash enhancement from our local yarn store. So I always try to keep something on the needles with yarn from RLYS. All right, the next thing I'm working on, my last thing, I've been talking about this for a while and it's on the needles now officially, is Tidal Shoals by Michelle Steed. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy in the Sandcastle colorway and Showstopper Intermission in Raspberry Parfait. I asked for weeks for Andy to pick a contrasting color, and in typical Andy fashion, when he wants to avoid doing something, he just goes, and doesn't do it. So I picked the Raspberry Parfait to go with the Sandcastle.
I don't know. It's a pretty awesome colorway.
It is. You may have a sweater in it. So these are my 2 colors. His mom had picked this out at SSK this summer to be the body color. This is knit very open as well because this is on a size 9 US, 5.5mm in lace. So it doesn't look like much. It's an open work vest, and this is the front side. It's kind of just like a stole with arms in it, so the front's kind of draped down and whatnot. So I'm doing the 2 color versions, so I did a little bit, it's called the, I don't know, I forgot what it's called, the trim, and then did 1 row of the pattern. Now this is one it's really going to need to be blocked and opened up to show you those stitches, but so there's that. And yeah, that's what I'm working on. That's it.
Pretty cool. So I'm working on my sock. It is opal, and I'm using size 0 US, and it's in the Offengrun colorway. And because I can't keep a secret to save my life, they're Steve's Christmas socks. I just can't. Like, I am one, I'm very much a person that once I have a gift, I really just want to give it at that time and not make people wait because I can't wait. So I've got 2 stitches left and then I'll be done with this needle. But I put in the heel flap, or the waist yarn for the heel, and not much is progress has been made. I was trying to knit on this at the science sleepover in the dark. Funny thing is when you knit dark pieces in the dark, it doesn't matter how much muscle memory you have, you could be doing it wrong. I don't know. It's crazy thought. But so I got like 2 rounds done, and then someone had to go to the bathroom, and then I was like, okay, maybe we'll set this down. But I'm working on that, and then I'm also actively working on my my boomerang, and I'm using another Crafty Girls gamut colorway. If you don't I feel like if you don't have this colorway in your stash, you need to do something about your life. Okay?
I don't, and it is very pretty. I just don't know what I would personally make with it, but it's her signature color.
Mm-hmm. I will say that every time I whip this out to work on it, doesn't matter if we're at the LYS or if I'm out in public. When I was doing this at the state, our all-team meeting, people like it. They go nuts for it, and I can't blame them. So, progress marker from where I was last time, and then I already put one in for now. So I did a pretty decent amount to it, considering how much I worked on the baby cardigan. So, can't say enough good things about it. Love it. Love the fabric. And if you want the pattern for the boomerang, just look at one of Steve's boomerangs and his project pages, because they've got all the instructions on how to do it. So that's all that I'm actively working on. I did pick up my Hitafude cardigan.
Because I laid down the gauntlet with this one over here this weekend.
He did.
And you agreed to it.
I did. And so I'm hoping that I can have it done by October. Yeah. By the end of October, let's be clear, not like in a couple of days. But I picked it up, and this is when I wish that I would have kept better notes, because I don't know what size I'm knitting. I don't know where I'm at pattern-wise. So, yeah. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
She going to learn how to read her knitting.
Yeah, I think I'm on, I think there's 4 pattern repeats, and I think I'm on row 3. And I need to do 2 more of like that, and then I divide. So we'll be getting real cozy with my knitting.
So what's in rehearsal? I did quickly make a decision today, so I'd have something in rehearsal. We're going to talk about another new knit along later on in the show, but I'm going to be knitting along with you all with that, and I'm going to be knitting the Declan's hat by Samantha Kirby. And I did pull up a picture to show you. If you watch the Bakery Bears, I know they've knit a couple of these. It's a cabled hat that looks like that. And I'm hoping my yarn choice will be okay for the amount of cables. We'll see. It does have some color variation in it. This was a recent yarn acquisition. In fact, I think I showed it last episode. This is from my local yarn store. It's Dreaming Color Classy in the Pinot color number 748. So,
yeah. I love this color so much.
So I'm going to knit this as a hat, and hopefully it'll be a quick project. Haven't done a hat in a while, but that's all I have in rehearsal.
Very good. Well, since I can't knit a new sweater until I'm finished with one / purchase the yarn, I will be working on finishing some things.
So behind the scenes, my spinning. I finished some spinning and I held on to it for a couple days so I could show you. And it's so
luxurious.
Well, no, I would say it's not rustic. It has got some tooth to it while being squishy. This is, I'll let you feel it. It's Three Waters Farm Targhee. So it's a very spongy fiber. And I think I kept the spongy nature of it. So, this is Three Waters Farm Targhee in the Lingering Light colorway. I did a chain plied or Navajo plied, and I got 270 yards of a DK weight, and I love the colors though. This is probably my favorite hand spun the way the colors played out. And this is going to go up in the shop tonight. I'm going to part with it. So I'm going to update this to the shop once we're done recording. And then I'm going to type up show notes so they're ready for me tomorrow, and then I'm going to bed. Because I'm an old fogey and I go to bed between 9:30 and 10. Yes, folks, you heard me correctly. So, super happy. You can see there the twist. So, and then I picked up another commission spin that I've been waiting to do, and I'm spinning some Pigeon Roof Studios again, BFL Silk in the Jewel Song colorway, which is these beautiful purples. And I'm going to spin this as a 2-ply, and I think I'm going to get a fairly thin yarn. I haven't done a 2-ply in a while, so I'm going to fractally spin it, though I don't know how much that's going to play into it. But there are some variations in the purples. There's several different shades of purples in there. So this is the second 2 ounces that I popped into the cart to bring down here. So in the scene shop, other crafting, not happening. So I'm going to skip by that. Do you have anything?
Nothing as of right now.
All right, let's move on. In the spotlight, what are we watching and reading? It's been 2 weeks. I got a lot to catch up with. So, we've watched a couple episodes of House of Cards. Still loving it. My problem is we've been piecing out season 4 to the fact that I kind of have to play catch up in the first couple minutes of an episode when we're watching it. So it's just the matter of, like last night, we were like, let's sit down and watch a movie, but then we needed to do haircuts, and then we cut hair, and we're like, maybe it's going to be a House of Cards night only, because that's only an hour, right, instead of a 2-hour movie. And then I was just like, I'm just going to hang out up here. I'm too lazy to go back downstairs, and I'm tired, and that's life, right, unfortunately. I did watch an episode of Once Upon a Time last night, though, so enjoying that. Still watching The Strain, still have mixed feelings about it. And watching American Horror Story Season 6, which is now called Roanoke, which I did not know about the mysterious disappearance of the settlers of Roanoke, and that supposedly the ghost story that's being played out on this season is supposedly based off of a true story from what I've heard, or for a true someone claiming it has happened to them. So it'd be really interesting to see where they go with this. They're supposed to tie everything together between all 5 previous seasons and relate back to it. So it's been interesting watching people propose conspiracy theories online. So I did finish 2 books, though, both audiobooks. I finished Romeo and Jude by Marty Ross. This was put out as an Audible daily deal. They had a week where they were doing Audible studio recordings, and it was more like a radio play than an audiobook. So there was no narration, it was actual actors playing roles. And it was set in Britain, and it was a modern day retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but it was about a man who's kind of at a midlife crisis but always did community theater on the side, and a young boy hits a friend of this older man's son who's kind of at a crossroads in his life and has been, essentially expelled from college, and the family of the young boy ask the older gentleman to maybe get him involved in theater as an outlet, and they hire a really eccentric director who decides to cast Jude, the younger boy, as Juliet, since Shakespeare would have had a male play Juliet at the time that it was originally produced. And then there is a love story between the two of them after playing the roles. And you think there's a twist at the end. And if you know the story of Romeo and Juliet, and if it's a modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet,
no.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. It was interesting to have it as a radio play. My ear took a little while to get attuned to it, but I did enjoy it. If you can catch it on the deal again, or if you want to use one of your credits, I would check it out. There's a bunch of other ones that I know they came out with that are the Audible Studio type things. I also finished 40 Thieves by Thomas Perry. This is the story about a husband and wife detective team who are hired by a company to figure out, to kind of gain information and solve the murder of a man who was killed a year prior and put in a storm drain and washed up. And the company just kind of want to figure out what happened to him. There's also narration between a husband and wife assassin duo that are hired to then kill said detectives. And then it somehow comes back around to this band of thieves, of diamond thieves, that have settled in America. It was enjoyable. It was kind of a suspense drama. So it was something different. I listened to it while spinning, so it took me a while to get through it. I think I rated it about 3 stars. I think, Romeo and Jude 4 stars. So that's it for what I'm watching and reading.
Very cool. I've been pretty busy with work, so I haven't really been watching a whole lot of TV. Shocker, I have yet to watch Empire, the season premiere, but I do know who died or left the cast. So, it's whatever. I watched the spoiler alerts because I was like, I'm going to be on edge. Since I can't watch it right now, I was like, I'm going to be on edge if I don't know the answer. So I creeped on Twitter and I found it. No real shocker there. So I did watch a movie with my mom on Saturday night, and it was A Face in the Crowd. It's an older movie set in the 50s, or that's when it was filmed. I think it covers a lot, or goes through a lot of years wise, and it's about the rise of the main character, who's played by Andy Griffith, Griffin, excuse me. But is it Griffith or is it Victor?
I think it's Griffith.
Anyways, so parts of it were shot in the hometown of where my Aunt Edith lived, and Mom and I, when we were down south earlier this summer, we actually saw some of the places where they filmed it, and kind of neat. And my mom said that our cousin Sharon was actually in the movie as one of the extras, because they did the filming of the band majorette scene. It was a competition between band majorettes. They did that at Kennett's High School on their football field. So the story goes. So that was really good. I've never really been a fan of Andy Griffith, to be quite honest. I just don't. I think he's a good actor, but I just don't like him. So it was interesting. He plays a pretty violent character in this movie. So it's not your Mayberry type of Andy Griffith. So just warning you there if you haven't yet to see the movie. And I did finish a book, and the book that I read was, I feel like when I talk to people about it, they feel some type of way. So just prefacing that I read it because I wanted to know another side of the story, and that's called Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil, and it's by Leslie McSpadden, and she's the mom of Michael Brown. Now, Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson, and since then a lot of things have happened, and so it doesn't matter what side of the fence you are on with that. I read the book because I wanted to hear her side of things, about how she raised him, what life was like when they were growing up, and things like that. And I think overwhelmingly, it doesn't matter where you stand on the issue, is that a mom lost her son, her firstborn, and that she was a teen mom when she had him. And all the things that she had went through life and is still going through, I think it speaks volumes about who she is as an individual. And so just from that point of view, I feel like there was a bunch of takeaways from it. And also that, the ultimate thing that she and her family wanted was just justice to the police officer. In the sense of wanted responsibility taken. And again, it doesn't matter where you lie on the fence with that, but in the sense of I'm not going to argue with you because you're going to feel some type of way, where we might agree, we might differ, but it's just a book, and it has real feelings, there's real emotions to it. It's a real family that's really going through stuff and is still going through stuff. So if you're looking for something just to, maybe you don't know where you stand on the issue, or you want to see a different viewpoint of it, then I would recommend it. It's not super great writing. It's very much she says what she says. She doesn't make excuses for what she says. The way she speaks is the way that it's portrayed in the book, in the sense of like, she cusses. She uses like y'all and can't, and different, not colloquialism, but there's a specific word for it. But it's very good in the sense of that. But also, read it, don't read it. It's what it is.
Shall we talk stash enhancement?
You
put me in a yarn store all day and things are going to happen.
I don't know. Not me. No.
Well, let me talk to you about Fiber in the Park. I was really good at Fiber in the Park, but then I had the pleasure of vending across from some very sweet ladies especially one in particular, that I've vended across from in Woodstock, and I saw them up at Stitches. They came and said hi. So their company is Be Unique Jewelry and Crafts. I'm going to cover up her cell phone number just because I don't know if she wants that for mass consumption. And you can check them out on Facebook, Be Unique, and it's facebook.com/be unique jewelry and crafts. So they do sell online. Anyway, it's a duo or a trio of sisters, I can't remember, but one does felted hats and blocked hats and all this beautiful fiber work. The other one's a woodworker and clay worker, amongst many other things, and does jewelry and clay buttons and big wooden knitting needles and things like that. And so I went over and I picked up several clay buttons. I don't know what I'm going to use them for. They may be accents on hats, or if I eventually do some female cardigans for my sister, Callie, my mom, people. I'm thinking like 1 or 2 buttons of like open swing cardigans. I think are very flattering. I could be wrong, but like on a bigger framed female, which a lot of people in my life are of my stature, you know what I mean? I think the double closure. So some of these have 2, most of them, but I thought this one would be really interesting on a hat.
I love this. It looks like a bird or like an angel wing. Yeah,
I saw like kind of a feather though too, and just that rustic. She did some beautiful work. So they're handcrafted ceramic buttons, lead free, glaze, and you have to hand wash these. So, and then these have some sort of writing in them. I can't make out what it says, but I just love the script in them.
Oh, they feel so nice.
And they're weighty, but not too heavy.
Right.
You dig again. I'm not going to put this on a fingering weight cardigan. They would probably weight down, but something else. I was just attracted to the color. I'm not sure why about these ones. And then these last ones, I liked how they kind of looked like wood, but they weren't, because I really like wood buttons. But these are kind of like faux wood.
Faux wood.
So. And relatively inexpensive for these. I thought they were each $8 a card, which I didn't think was bad for the amount of work and craftsmanship and time and glaze and everything else that goes into them. So definitely check them out. They do a lot of art fairs and things. I know they're going to be, I think she said, in Kankakee twice this fall, and a couple other things. So
that's not that
check
far.
them out on Facebook. Follow them. Be Unique. I will link to them in our show notes, which is dramaticknits.com. So, and just will always make you laugh. If you ever run into them, they're just the sweetest people and will always make you laugh. So, there's that. I picked that up at Fiber and Park, and that's all I walked away with at Fiber in the Park. It was good. And then this weekend, while at the trunk show, I may have laid claim to these. These are project bags made by one of the patrons to our local yarn store, and she sourced this fabric, which includes some red sheep, which Les Moutons stands for red sheep, or Les Moutons Rouge. And so I nabbed one, and then Callie nabbed one too. She had to steal my thunder.
No shame in my game.
I really am happy with this though. This fabric is very nice, heavy duty fabric. And then yes, look at this bottom. I don't know, what do you call this? Technique.
I would say in some aspects it's very quilted. Like you can feel the interfacing in here, and it's a harder interfacing for the bottom than what it is up top.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she did this for structure reasons.
And it stands. It's not something you're going to want to fold, but it's very nice to be able to open it and put it on the floor, and it's not going to flop over. It's got some heft to it. It's got a nice, hefty handle. It's got a little zipper pull, which is almost, it's a sheath, but it almost looks like it's supposed to have movable legs. It's got the little bit tab that you can pull or close. And it's got pockets. This is, it's by Nana Knits and Sews. I'm not sure if she's online though. But it's got 2 pockets in here, which are wonderful. Interfacing, I love the lining. I'm just really happy with it. So I picked that up. And Callie did too. Really quickly, my other things. I need a size 16-inch 13 for the top of my outlier that I'm working on. So I picked up one of those in Xiaogu. And then I was like, well, if I'm spending money, why not spend more? So she got some new opal.
Oh, is that one of the anniversary colors?
This is one of the 20th anniversary colors. This is opal 4-ply in the 20th anniversary. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. This is in color number 9286. Nolland Corkin, which is Poppin' Corks. I looked up the translation. Poppin' Corks. I really just like the blue and the creamy gold together. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of how it knits up. It shows you here. It's kind of got that jacquardish feel. I'm not a huge jacquard fan, but I really wanted the colors, and I figured they'd be a good guy's gift knit sock for Andy's dad or brother or someone like that. And then I may have picked up one of the Opal Classics. Because Callie's knitting the green ones. So this one called my name, and this one is in the exclusive color. That's literally the time. It's exclusive, and it's color number 9067, which is some yellows, reds, and oranges amongst the grays.
I'm telling myself there's a second skein, not knowing if that's true or not.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking, because we're horrible at keeping secrets, I think I should knit these for you for Christmas.
Excellent.
Not for your birthday, because that's coming up really quickly.
Yeah.
But for Christmas, maybe. Yes. They'll be on the needles for Christmas, I'll guarantee you that. And then I think it'd be cute if we gave each other like almost matching socks, but in our own colors.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, Alex.
And then there's no like unrealistic expectations. Oh my gosh, guys, this bag has guide holes. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that. That's really cool.
Kelly made sure to point that out to me, and because they're key rings, right? Because they're key rings. If you take a bulb stitch marker and clip it to it, then you can run it without it run your yarn through the bulb rings, and it won't catch on the actual key ring.
Oh, I like that bag.
Kelly is a thinker, and she will definitely point out a good tip, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So that's all that I picked up.
I've been bad, y'all. Like, real bad. And I'm...
Stress buying? What?
Hashtag sorry, not sorry. So, of course...
Hashtag don't judge.
Yeah. Are y'all ready? Okay. So the first thing, I did a pre-order with... Dancing Dog Dye Works to get the Taco Tuesday. So starving.
This is the point in the show where we're going to get a little slap happy because whenever we record at night.
Nope. So, okay, like for real, I was so pumped when she showed those first. I was like, I gotta have this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life if I don't have this. So I also got the coordinating like half skein for the cuff, heels, and toes in Salsa Verde. But it is a 2-stripe. It's Taco Tuesday and Salsa Rojo. And y'all, like, I can't even.
Because of the lighting tonight, if you go, there we go. You gotta just kind of angle back.
But it is awesome. Like, this makes me think of all of the taco or the Friday nights at our local Mexican place. And it was margaritas were on point. Like, that was like a half bottle of tequila in like a pitcher. I'm just saying, it was great. And like $7. Okay, anyways.
So you know it was the cheap stuff. But it got the job done.
Oh, whew. I've made some poor choices in my life because of that. But anywho.
Neither here, neither there.
And then I watched an episode of The Grocery Girls, and they...
Dropping my balls.
I was going to say it, but then I was like... So I saw that they had lamb strings yarn. And so I went to the website to see if they had the color that The Grocery Girls were featuring. Of course they didn't, because I was late to the bandwagon on watching The Grocery Girls as soon as it came out and then obtaining said yarn. But that's okay, because she has tons of great stuff. So I picked up 2 skeins of her Utopia worsted weight, and it is in the color Tarnish.
That is beautiful.
And I did a special order because she had 1 and I wanted 2 because I want a decent size project out of it. It's 100% superwash merino wool, and it's 218 yards, 100 grams. And I am drooling over this colorway. Like, I really liked it on screen, but I love it even more in person. So there's that. And then my wool piggery continued on Saturday, and so I picked up a kit because Les Moutons Rouge Knittery is doing a cow, and it's the back to school cow, and so we are doing it together. And Steve knit this, but in case if you're unfamiliar with the pattern, it's by Sarah Burkhart Abram. Trying to
There's nothing on the front
page
that's
gonna say,
pattern-wise.
But it's the one that had the Charlie Brown stripe. So I got that, and the kit that Steve put together, Steve did a lot of kits. Steve and Andy did a lot of kits for this truck show this weekend. But one of the exclusive colorways that they designed for Les Moutons Rouge Knittery is the Redbird Egg. And it is Illinois State University colors. And while I did not attend ISU, I worked there for several years, and I hold the campus in high regards because they provided a lot to me in terms of education on the job, and they've been a great institution to work with in my current job. So lots of really positive things to say about ISU.
Ernest is under the table. That was not Callie.
It was not me. And then the color, the additional color is Poison Apple, and this is on Showcase. So in the pattern, it uses the speckle as kind of the main body colorway, but I'm gonna do it reverse. So that way,
she's a rule breaker.
Yeah. And Kelly bought the same kit, so she's going to do it the way the pattern's written, and I'm going to do it in reverse. And she said, we can go out. It's like the yin and the yang. It's like soul-crushingly awesome.
Hashtag soul-crushingly awesome.
So I love this, and I was really pumped to get a bag that kind of goes with it, if you know what I mean. So that's where my wool piggery ended, and probably will end for a little bit. I might order a Halloween project bag, but I'm not saying where, because if y'all snatch it up before I get it, I'm gonna be angry. Real angry. That's all I gotta say about that.
So let's keep this train moving forward with a round of applause. Guess what, y'all? It's a Knit It Forward episode. Surprise! So if you're new to the show, we started this a couple weeks back with our first ever Knit It Forward, taken after the Pay It Forward thought process, where if you put positivity out in the world, it's going to kind of lead to a chain reaction of more positivity being created and absorbed. And so that was the chair. Keep pulling back. See, I'm doing it again. You can think what you want, but it was the chair. Okay? So, what I did and what Callie will be doing in the future too is projects that we knit that we don't find a good home for or that don't maybe suit our wardrobes. I knit a ton of shawls. Do I wear shawls? Not really. I knit in general. Do I wear knitwear? Not really. I just enjoy the process of knitting. So I figure if I can put some of that knitted juju positivity out in the world, then hopefully that'll continue. So all I ask in order to be eligible for this particular project is I'm going to open up a thread, hopefully tonight if I don't fall asleep beforehand, for the Knit It Forward for the geology shawl, which looks like this. I knitted a while ago out of Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Fog colorway. So this is the geology shawl. Very small, but it works as a good kerchief. It's not too... it's shallow enough to be a decent sized kerchief. So this is the geology shawl. And in order to be eligible for this, all you have to do is tell me something positive that you have done between today, which is September 26th, and when we record again, which will be in 2-ish weeks, which will be, let me put the date out there so that we have it on the record, October 9th. October 9th. So I'll have that thread open between today and October 9th, and all you have to do is tell me, it could be something that you donated, or you helped somebody, or you held the door open, or you thought positive thoughts about somebody, or if you if your belief system involves praying, then that's fine too. Whatever you do that puts some positivity into the lives of others or yourself, because taking care of yourself is key and is priority, right? So anything that you want to put out there, again, this is going to be general consumption. If you do win, I am going to share on the show. So just keep that in mind. But I will randomly draw for a winner to win this shawl, and I will mail it to you and put a little bit of my positivity out there. So there's that. And you must be a member of the group in order to be eligible to win, please. If you're going to be on Ravelry, please join our group. All right, we've got another knit along going on currently. It's fall, y'all, Cal.
Yes, and you could have started it in September at the beginning. You know, like the 1st. I think that's.
And we said works in progress works.
So it's anything that is fall related.
However, you justify that.
Yep. We've got a recipe thread which is on and popping, y'all. Like, seriously. So back to the actual knitting part of it.
Because the recipe one is not eligible for prizes. It's just for fun and to share recipes.
But like seriously, there are some delicious chili recipes posted right now that makes my heart like fill up with just joy. So anyways, we have this knitting. I'm so sorry. I got side tangent in my own story. So you can, anything that you can justify knitting wise and crocheting that is fall related. Could it be a hat? Could it be a sweater, mittens, whatever? It could be a colorway. It could be, pretty much. And sell it to me.
Somebody posted a very bright pair of socks today, and they're like, you wear hand knit socks in the fall because it gets cooler.
And that's you know what? I can't argue that statement. That is 150,000% true. So, sell it to me.
You must be a member of the group.
Yes.
And if you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts for this particular knit along, you can post the picture twice to get 2 entries into the drawing. For every 50 entries we get, we will add on an additional prize. It automatically starts with 1. Mm-hmm. And we did not say this prior, but Callie made the executive decision. Any works in progress do count. So it just has to be finished within the time frame of the knit along.
Yeah.
And she didn't lay any ground rules on like percentages or...
So. No, because math and I are not necessarily best friends. Like, I can balance my checkbook, cool. I can do audits, cool. But, like, percentages, not my thing. I don't think they're anybody's thing. And if they are, cool, good for you. You're a better person than I am.
So that's that knit along. If you have any questions, contact this one over here.
Yep.
We are going to start a new knit along that is going to run concurrent starting October 1st, and it's going to go through November 15th. I've had the pleasure of meeting a young lady at YarnCon and Stitches Midwest now for several years, and she is a wonderful, wonderful person. And she was talking to me at Stitches this year about a hat drive that she does every year with some local knitters and co-workers of herself. She is in the healthcare industry, and she runs a operation. She runs a program called Operation Chemo Comfort, which is based in Wisconsin. And her name is Kelsey. And she's reaching out to us so that we could spread the word. And I said, I'm not going to just spread the word. We're going to have a knit along.
Yep.
We're going to do a knit along because we are so in love with this idea. So they are a group of healthcare workers that make hats and care packages for new patients at the Frotert Hospital's Clinical Cancer Center in Milwaukee. They are attempting to make the holidays a little easier for anyone undergoing chemotherapy this season by making and distributing as many hats as possible. Their goal is between 400 and 500 hats, as their cancer center unfortunately needs approximately 250 hats per month for new patients. And that's a stunning number. It really is. So they're hoping to, make the holidays a little brighter for people, take the stress off, and to get a total of 400 to 500 hats. Guys, I really want us as a community, as the Dramatic Knits podcast, to really help that drive. So the hat that I'm casting on, I'm going to be sending it in. And I would hope that you would join in our efforts. So there are no fiber, craft, or pattern restrictions. It doesn't have to be superwash. It doesn't have to be knitting. It doesn't have to be a specific pattern. I'm going to link when I set up the thread for the knit along. Kelsey has a few hat patterns on her design page which are free that you could use. And she will also be putting up a tag, which I'll be in contact with her, that you can include with your hat when you ship in each hat. If you put it in each its own Ziploc bag so that there's no cross-contamination between fibers if one's superwash and one isn't, alpaca, that kind of stuff, so that it will talk about care instructions, the fiber content, and it'll allow you to give a little handwritten note to the person that receives the hat, which isn't that extra special touch. So, that being said, she does need the hats by towards the end of November. Okay, so that's why I'm ending it November 15th, so that you have to ship out hats by November 15th to this young lady, Kelsey. And I really just want to blow this community away with the generosity of knitters. Here's the one thing that I want to put out there, though. You don't need to knit the hat right now. You don't need to craft the hat right now. If you have, like me and Andy, we have a handful of hats we never touch. Dab them. If you don't think it's hand washed, put no, not hand wash on there, and send them in. Somebody can use it. And so I'm really excited to start this knit along. I want to see what we can do. So you can get on there October 1st and put in 15 hats that you have laying around the house. That's 15 entries. We are going to do so many drawings for this, guys, more than our normal. I think I'm going to put it out there every 25. We're going to put a prize in. So.
And I would just like to add, October is my birthday month, and there is nothing better than I could ever ask is if you can knit or donate a hat, because that means a lot to me, because we've all been touched by cancer in some way or another, and I lost, like, my second mom to a lot of forms of cancer. She had lungs, she had breast, she had brain, and it would mean a lot. I mean, that's not to say, like, I'm stealing the thunder. I'm just saying, like, that's, this is a great opportunity to give, and especially, having cancer at any point in your life sucks, but having cancer during the holidays blows some serious monkey chunks, like, sucks balls. So, definitely, this speaks to both Steve and I personally. So I will be knitting several hats, which I have not done several hats, so I'm really excited to do this. So let's make this really awesome. Y'all.
So look for the thread Operation Chemo Comfort. We'll have that going, and we'll have a chatter thread and an FO thread, or a donated hat thread because again, it doesn't have to be a finished object, and that'll run from October 1st through November 15th. That is 6 weeks. Let's see if we can't beat their number. Guys, really seriously, I am begging you. Let's see if we can't beat their number just out of ours. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Because if they have more than enough hats, if they're asking for 250 a month, new patients a month, let's give them a couple months. Let's give them a couple months worth of hats. So I'd appreciate it. Let's really get the chatter thread going. Let's encourage each other, tell stories, provide inspiration. Please, I would personally appreciate it. Callie would personally appreciate it. And let's show what we can do as a knitting community. So, that being said, let's also talk about our September Race to the Finished Object contest, which is going strong. We have 2 wonderful prizes. We have a book, Chunky Knits, that I showed off last week. That'll be going through the end of September. And we have a pattern from our featured designer, who is Laura Linneman, also known as Lala Designs on Ravelry, and one of the hosts of, the Knit Girls. So anything you finish in the month of September can be used in the Race to the Finished Object contest and gets you an entry. Now, when it becomes October, you could post, if you knit a hat in October or finish a hat, you could post it in the Race to the Finished Object contest. You could post it in the It's Fall Y'all Cal, and you could put it in the Operation Chemo Comfort thread. So you could knit one hat and get 3 entries for 3 separate prizes. So just saying, we're highly encouraging it to be a hat-tastic October and half of November.
Put a hat on it.
So I think I just changed the title. Hat-tastic. I love it.
Hat-tastic.
So there's that. That's the September Race to the Finished Object contest. If you have any questions, look at the thread on our Ravelry group, which is Dramatic Knits Video Podcast Group. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to talk very quickly about Center Stage, which is all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. I do not have any yarn to show you, unfortunately, this episode, but things have been updated to the shop. Check out the shop, leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. I have been updating almost something new to the shop every day. Check out Instagram to be up to date with that, or join our Facebook group for Leading Men Fiber Arts. We've been showing off some finished objects over there. There's even been a contest through Knit Crate, which I talked about before that we did. They were giving away a polyphony kit on there if you did, their social media things and things like that. But I tend to kind of forward that along on my group as well. I do want to tell you about 2 upcoming shows. These are going to be our last 2 shows for this show season. But don't worry, we're only taking a very small winter break, because I think our next show season will be starting in mid-February, and we've got things lined up in February and March and April and May and June and July and August, so something every month. But the last 2 shows, on October 15th, Bishop Hills Fiber Guild Annual Spin-In in Mossville, Illinois. That'll be, I believe, from 9 to 3. It is at their elementary school. Come check us out. We'll be excited to be there. This will be our 3rd event with them, so we're excited. And they're very local to us, so we like to support them as well. And our last show of the season is a big one, and we need to really work our butts off to get stock for that. But that is going to be the Fall Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan on October 22nd and 23rd. That is a Saturday and Sunday. This is quite a drive for us, especially during my work year when we leave Friday after work and drive all night to get there in the middle of the night and get up and set up. But we did love the show last year, and we got to meet so many of you that are viewers up in the area that came out. So that's up in Ann Arbor at the fairgrounds. I don't know what that's called up there. But so come check us out, and we'll be excited to be there. So those are our last 2 shows, and don't forget, you can always put in custom orders through our website. Up at the top, we have custom orders, colorways, wholesale orders if your local yarn store is interested. But definitely check out the shop and Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, all that fun stuff. You can always find the show on our website, which is dramaticknits.com. iTunes, you can subscribe there if you're still doing iTunes, or YouTube. So I'm still sticking with iTunes. I'm not going to lie. I'm having some debates in my head about continuing on because I've been having issues with my slow internet at house loading, and I'm like, well, when the summer comes and I'm off work, where am I gonna have to go sit in a McDonald's parking lot to use their Wi-Fi to get it on the internet? I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's so creepy, especially at this one.
I know.
In town.
But let me tell you, the local internet is now telling us that we're using so much of our data per month. I didn't know I know Comcast has now gone to that. Our local provider is now telling you only get so much internet a month. That's a little bit crazy. But whatever they can do to turn a buck, right?
So much yarn porn to look at, so little time.
And on that note, we will say,
we hope you
knit something dramatic. Oh, I can't turn it off. Blooper reel.